Romeoclass submarine being overhauled in drydock. Credit Digital Globescape where 3D North Korea has rejected Donald Trump's call for talks over its nuclear program just days after the U.S. president completed his high-profile to Asia. Han Tae Song, North Korea's ambassador to the United Nations in Geneva, said that negotiations would not happen while America continued war games in the region. The snub occurred as new satellite images suggested North Korea is pursuing an aggressive schedule to build its first operational ballistic missile submarine. The developments mark a double setback for Mr. Trump, who is seeking a breakthrough in the standoff over North Korea after rallying support for his approach in Asia. During a five-nation tour of the region, Mr. Trump surprised commentators with the call for North Korea to come to the table and make a deal over its nuclear program. Modernization of Port of No Pyongyang. Credit Digital Globescape where 3D construction of L-shaped pier continues. Credit Digital Globescape where 3D. However, speaking to Reuters, Mr. Han rejected the proposal and criticized America for carrying out joint military practices with South Korea. As long as there is continuous hostile policy against my country by the U.S. and as long as there are continued war games at our doorstep, then there will not be negotiations. Mr. Han said, there are continued military exercises using nuclear assets as well as aircraft carriers and strategic bombers, and then raising such kinds of military exercises against my country. Mr. Han said North Korea's nuclear program was about protection, saying this is the nuclear deterrent to cope with the nuclear threat from America. He also claimed Mr. Trump's drive for tighter sanctions was to overthrow the regime by isolating it and creating a humanitarian disaster. China has contested Mr. Trump's claim that freeze for freeze proposal, where North Korea stops its nuclear development and America ends its military war games, was off the table. Meanwhile, 38 North, a Washington-based project that monitors North Korea, said that satellite images indicate the regime is aggressively pursuing a ballistic missile submarine. Close-up shows potential pressure hull components. Credit Digital Globescape where 3D continued movement of parts and components observed. Credit Digital Globescape where 3D. The images captured activity at North Korea's Sinpo South shipyard on November 5. The presence of what appear to be sections of a submarine's pressure hull in the yard suggests construction of a new submarine, possibly the SINPOC ballistic missile submarine, the follow-on to the current Sinpo-class experimental ballistic missile submarine, 38 North said in a report. The report said that, throughout 2017 there had been continued movement of parts and components into and out of two parts yards adjacent to the construction's hulls in the center of the shipyard. Close-up of the missile test stand. Credit Digital Globescape where 3D Sinpo-class submarine and submersible test stand barge. Credit Digital Globescape where 3D. It said the November 5 images showed two large circular objects that could be sections of a submarine's pressure hull. It said these appeared larger than those for North Korea's Romeoclass attack submarine. Images of a test stand indicated continued testing of a mechanism for ejection launch of missiles from a submarine. However, the report said no activity could be seen suggesting preparations for a new test of a submarine-launched missile. North Korea has been working to develop a nuclear-tipped missile capable of reaching the United States, sparking a major international crisis in which U.S. President Donald Trump has said that all options are under consideration, including military ones. North Korea is also thought to be working on a solid-fuel missile for submarine launches. Last month, The Diplomat magazine quoted a U.S. government sources saying U.S. military intelligence had detected a new diesel-electric submarine under construction at Sinpo and dubbed it the Sinpok. It said the submarine was likely a larger successor to North Korea's single experimental ballistic missile submarine.